Digression.
No. I'm not having it.
I mean, is it food we're talking about?
Definitely.
It's very juicy.
Come on.
But I'm just stating facts.
What were we talking about?
Hey guys, salut, I'm Alex, and I make food videos on YouTube.
Hello, I'm Josh, and I edit Alex's food videos on YouTube.
Good morning, Josh. How are you?
I'm very good, Alex. How are you doing?
I'm good. So with Josh, when we're working on videos, we talk a lot about food, obviously. And spoiler, we don't always agree. Yet, we always digress.
We do. We always take
I'm afraid we do.
a big digression against what we should be doing into very interesting topics.
Yeah, what was the last one? I thought we had a chat about pizza.
We did, but I mean, to be fair, I feel like pizza is a topic that can be talked about again and again and again and never truly resolved, but always enjoy talking about it.
I'm a big sucker for pizza myself. I've been. It's time to. I mean, this early in the discussion between us, I'm gonna start bragging.
Okay, fine. Straight off the bat, that's not like you, Alex.
Yes, exactly. So I've been to Naples in Italy, eating my way throughout the city, and I know you've been there as well. So
I have, yeah.
You see, and I must say I'm a big fan of the Neapolitan style of pizza. That fluffy crust. Yeah, I'm going to describe it first, so that everybody gets a clear overview, a clear picture in mind of what is a Neapolitan pizza. So I would say medium in size, a very fluffy crust, charred and puffed up, airy and chewy. Underneath, the bottom of the pie is like a leopard. It has dots of little charred marks, beautiful. And then the center of the pizza is red with not dots, but more like spots of melted white mozzarella cheese.
Islands, I would call them.
Islands.
Islands of mozzarella.
Exactly. Islands of mozzarella. A few burnt pieces of basil. And then that liquidy matter in the center. Basically, in terms of texture, if the crust is quite chewy, it's not crispy, but it's quite chewy. It has a subtle crisp to it, but the center, it's soupy.
Soupy is the way that a lot of people describe it. Yeah,
and I'm not even complaining about this. This is exactly how people describe it. Yes, so
I think
that's the center.
That's a very good description of a Neapolitan pizza. Yeah,
and it's delicious.
What about flavour-wise? So we've described almost kind of textural, what the pizza looks like. What about the flavour?
So in terms of flavour, I would say it's not in-your-face flavours. It's I would call this subtle flavours, more or less subtle flavours. Like my favourite part, obviously, is the crust because I can sense. Or maybe I fool myself into thinking that I can sense the craftsmanship, the skills of the baker, basically, within something that is not too yeasty, that has some hints of bread, of toasted notes, some charred. The crust really is like for me the roller coaster of emotions. Even though I'm a bread guy, that probably explains a lot.
Yeah.
But then in the center, the sauce is not like a fully reduced sauce. So it's very fresh. It's just, I think it's called passata, but I'm not entirely sure. I think it's called passata. It's just like crushing tomatoes, plum tomatoes coming from a specific place with your hands and spreading that mush on the pie before cooking it. So it's almost uncooked sauce.
Do you remember the name of the place? Is it San Maranzo or San something? We could look that up perhaps for later. Yeah, that's an interesting point actually about the sauce and it not being cooked. Do you think it's raw usually?
It's not raw. I mean, in the sense that it has been cooked 60 seconds in the oven.
Yes. Okay, it's raw before it goes onto the pie.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's seasoned with salt, maybe a bit of pepper, probably a touch of olive oil. And that's probably it. And then a pinch of oregano on the pie, maybe a pinch of Parmesan cheese as well, a few islands of mozzarella cheese. And so you can sense the freshness. The sauce is almost uncooked. The mozzarella cheese is known to be very fresh. Basil leaves here and there that also bring a bit of not tang, but a bit of flavor, a bit of herby freshness.
Yeah, okay.
And that's basically what you get when you bite into that pie. You get a soft, fresh feeling. That's what I get, anyway.
The only main other note, I suppose, that I suppose I get is the char. It adds an almost smoky sort of sensation, I think, sometimes to the crust because of the heat of the oven that it's been baked in. And I think you're right. The rest of the flavors are quite delicate in order to emphasize the bread, essentially, I think. But I would say that I think Neapolitan pizza is a textural experience more than it is about the flavors.
I agree with this. I have to agree with this. And you're very sensitive. Are you sensible? I think you're sensitive to Asian culture as well. Are you?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Let's just clarify that for a second.
Yeah, there's a following to this. Hold on a second. Don't be such in a rush, okay? I'm coming to it.
Okay.
In China, texture matters a lot
Okay,
in
I see.
the tasting experience.
Yes, yeah.
There are dishes that I've tasted that were only about the texture. And from a Western point of view, I was puzzled because this is not something I've experienced in the past. Like a dish must be packed with flavor. That's how I've been raised. And with the Neapolitan pie, I think it's delicious. It's fresh. It's flavorful, whatever. But yes, I agree. The texture is the most interesting thing on a Neapolitan pizza.
I would certainly say that it's not as if it's flavorless. It's not only about the texture. The flavors that are there are very well balanced and they all complement each other. But yes, it's the sort of as you said, the crusts they're chewy, and there's a slight bit of crunch perhaps from the charred areas. Not a lot, but the main element is that kind of chewy. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. It's very light, fluffy, but at the same time, not like a cake. It's got that. The gluten has been developed enough that you've got that kind of bite, the resistance, the chew to it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm also trying to come up with an analogy without being left dead on the street by the mob.
Well, okay. So
a chewing gum would be probably too far.
Please don't compare Neapolitan pizza
I wouldn't do
crusts
that. I wouldn't do
to
that.
chewing gum. I feel like that's certain death for
now,
you.
Maybe the blisters on the crust are helping creating that crispy experience as well.
Yes,
but it's not as crispy. And now we're coming to maybe something else. It's not as crispy, as other pizza styles.
No, it's not.
For example, the New York slice, where you've got like a clear, super thin yet crispy crust that snaps when you fold it in half. And again, it's just a very different experience where I feel like maybe, and I'm willing to hear what you have to say about this slice, but this one would be more about the flavor or the salt, maybe.
They're definitely more intense in flavour, yes. And again, the textural experience is like I'm not going to have a slice of New York pizza and think, oh man, I really enjoyed the crust on that. It's not the main event. Whereas in a way with the Neapolitan pizza, I feel like the crusts are almost my favourite bit.
How would you feel if you saw somebody? I mean, you're a British person, so you're probably going to say, this is not my business. I do not interfere in other people's business. But as a Frenchman, I do. You see?
I know what you're going to say.
I was in a restaurant recently, and I saw somebody, and you know that story. I saw somebody just leaving all the crust on the side of their plate. And I was just like, cringing in the back, complaining, making noises, audible, yet barely audible noises.
So, since the last time we spoke about this, and I remember you telling me that, there's a new Neapolitan pizza place opened up in Leeds, which is where I live. Okay. And because it was the opening day, they were offering free pizzas on the first day. So a group of 4 of us went to go and have these pizzas. They were really good. It's probably the best Neapolitan pizza that I've had in Leeds.
I don't know how much that says.
Probably not loads, but there are a few places. I mean, it's starting to be more of a thing. Anyway, the girl that was next to me did exactly that. She ate the center of the pizza and left the crust. And I said, I usually say this in jest, but I said, that's the best bit. Now, it's a very stereotypically like Northern British thing to look at the worst part of the meal that someone has left and say, that's the best bit, as kind of a joke. But in this particular instance, I was being very sincere. I meant that is the best bit. And she sort of said, well, no, because all the toppings are in the middle and that's where the flavour is. And I was like, you don't understand this pizza.
Yes.
But for posterity, she was Belgian. So...
What do you mean? No. Go on. What do you mean with this? I'm not saying, following, nor am I, validating.
In a way, if she was British, I would go, okay, when it comes to food, you're very uneducated. I'll let you off. It's fine. Don't worry about it. But as someone from mainland Europe, I was a bit disappointed. You know?
I guess some people just have bad memories about pizza. They just had like super awful pizzas in the past with a dry, tasteless crust, and they just assume. And am I blaming them for this? I'm not even sure. I'm just sad because I know they are missing out on something that is great. That is one of the best thing I've ever eaten, like the crust of a Neapolitan pizza. The only problem I see there, and it's my Frenchness talking now.
Okay.
A Neapolitan pizza.
You seem hesitant.
Yeah. I'm carefully picking my words.
Okay.
Because this is a sensitive subject. The Neapolitan pizza dies quickly. In the sense that you only have a time frame of, I'd say 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Maybe less.
It's not like a good loaf of bread where you've got a much longer window that you can eat that thing in.
Yes. So it would be more like, something you have to eat within that time frame. Afterwards, it's going to be soggy instead of just being soft.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that tells something about the food. I mean, is food that is long-lasting superior to food that is not? Maybe not.
I just think that they're different. I think that things that have been designed to be long-lasting have, for whatever reason, been made in a way that emphasises that. Whereas, so actually, this may be bring us on to the next point that I wanted to make. Neapolitan pizza, to a lot of pizza geeks, is kind of held up as the ultimate, the main, the best form of pizza. The standard. So this is the thing. The standard, yes. Now, I would argue that every style of pizza that's been developed has become what it has become due to the environment that it was made in. So, for example, in New York, they can't have stone-built pizza ovens, or at least at one point they weren't able to have big wood-burning stone pizza ovens due to, restrictions of not being able to burn wood in the city, or the fact that they didn't have the space to build the ovens, the cost of actually building something like that. So they used what they had at the time, which would have been more sort of, electric ovens or gas ovens or that sort of thing. And with those ovens, you cannot achieve the same sort of pizza that is a Neapolitan pizza. The main thing that enables you to be, because at home you could have all the ingredients, you could have all the technique, you could have all the knowledge that you need to make a Neapolitan pizza. But if you don't have a wood-burning stone pizza oven, you can't make it.
And I have to agree with this. So I made a series on the channel about Neapolitan pizza, and the thing I have struggled with till the end, wood-fired flavors.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's one key thing that we forgot to mention earlier on. Yes, that's one flavor you get straight in the face.
Exactly, and it's that sort of smoky flavor that I was talking about from the char also comes, I suppose, from the fact that you've got the wood burning in that oven. Now, I guess the point I'm trying to get at is this: to say that Neapolitan pizza is the standard, I don't know if that's right, because if in New York, the New York style of pizza, given the ingredients that they had to be able to make pizza and the environment in which it's been developed, I think that's probably the best style of pizza that you can make with the tools that are to hand.
So you're saying there's no best pizza. There's only one pizza that is suited to one environment.
I think that maybe was the case at some point in history. Maybe now the fact that you can buy restaurants can buy a Neapolitan pizza oven and this sort of thing. What?
Yeah, but I would like, as much as I would like to agree with this.
Yeah.
The problem is that what about Chicago deep dish style pizza? For what lifestyle is this made for?
I read from Jamie Oliver, actually, of all people. I read that
he's no authority when it comes to pizza. I'm not
saying it is, but he's been to Chicago, and I think he picked up this knowledge.
So that's the level of authority he's been to Chicago once. He has a layover. He just, the flight he was connecting the flight in Chicago once.
Only in the same way that you've been to Sweden and Turkey to find out about meatballs. You've picked up some knowledge.
Blow. That's a low blow. All right, listening.
Listen, anyway, so apparently the deep dish style was developed because the main source of heat that they would use in Chicago was coal, and you can't really cook a pizza directly over coal because it's bad for you if you've got the sort of coal fumes coming off of it. So they developed a style that could be cooked sort of in a dish. Now, does that mean it's better than Neapolitan pizza? No, it's a completely different thing. I'm not really that into it, but I feel like it has been developed due to how cold it is in Chicago, one, and two, the fact that they had to burn everything over coal. Instead of it being a thin, light, ethereal pillow of flour, it's become this thick, stodgy meal that one slice is enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with everything you said, including that one slice is plenty with a deep dish, and it does make sense to some extent. It does make sense that the pizza is just like a consequence of the environment somehow, and I also agree with something you said about the snobbery behind Neapolitan pizza.
Yes,
it's amazing. Yes, it is amazing. There are so many styles. It's not superior to any other style of pizza. For example, let's say you're walking down the street. Clearly, Neapolitan pizza is inferior to plenty other styles of pizza in this case. Because how do you walk around with a flappy centered pizza?
And so actually that ties into the New York thing and why the New York slice is suitable for New York, because people are always on the go. They're moving. They want to grab a slice and get going again. Whereas the culture in Italy is very much, well, especially, in the South, is very much more take your time, relax,
all right,
sit down and eat sort of thing.
Yes, understood. So it's suited for the lifestyle, for the vibe, for la dolce vita. See?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. If I'm in Naples, there's nothing better to eat than the Neapolitan pizza.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told and taught how to eat Neapolitan pizza by like pizza chef.
Come on then, tell me your style, your approach to it.
Yes, so I think they call this quadrifoglio, but I'm not sure. So, but I think it's about this. You fold it like a wallet somehow. You fold the tip back, and then you carefully, it's not exactly folding, but you carefully, I don't know, squeeze the pie in between your fingers and you try to shove it up your mouth without having the juices exploding everywhere on your shirt.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't so much concerned about because it's so delightful, to be honest. It's so delightful as an experience. So I can forgive a few stains on my shirt with this.
It's you saying that has made me sort of think of Neapolitan pizza as being a very delicate flower that just can't hold itself together. And it's sort of like, come on, man, stand up to the forces. I can't, it's too difficult.
No, but with the New York slice, yes, I had a few slices as well, and you snap them in half. They're so convenient. So convenient. You can walk around with them like easily. You can walk around with them easily.
I'm walking here.
Yeah, exactly there. And I mean, to be fair, I love New York slices as well. I feel like they capture the hectic, the manic vibe out there. And they're salty, and the Parmesan cheese and the mozzarella cheese, it's like super evenly distributed. Yeah, maybe let's do a description of the New York slice. Just super
let's
quick.
do that just for,
So it's a very big pie. In
Very
this
big,
case.
yeah.
It's massive, but it's super thin. The crust is probably a centimeter thick, not much more. Quite low in terms of height. I mean, it's not as fluffy as the Neapolitan one. It's super thin. It's snappy. It's crispy. It's fully cooked. The crust is fully cooked, and then the bottom of the pie has some structure to it. If you were to hold a slice of a New York slice in your hand, when you fold it in half, it stands proud. It doesn't flap. And in the center, you've got that sauce, which is, I would say, more of a sauce than just a tomato pulp.
So this was the other thing. When I said before, the sauce that goes onto a Neapolitan pizza is raw before it goes into the oven. With a New York slice, I feel like it's cooked before it goes on.
I think so as well. Yeah. I agree with this. Okay, understood. And then they have super fine, dry mozzarella that is spread onto it. It's like a mozzarella that is made for pizza, even though, I don't know, it's just conveniency. Everything screams convenience.
I think it's made for that pizza specifically because, I think part of the soupiness in the middle of a Neapolitan pizza is due to the mozzarella that they use that has a higher water content that kind of soaks into the base, whereas a New York slice, like you said, uses dehydrated or
yes,
I don't know what the word is.
Maybe not dehydrated, but yeah, like low water
low
content.
Moisture. Yeah,
low moisture. Low moisture
Yeah.
mozzarella, and it's very convenient. Pardon. It's very convenient to make pizza. I've been using that type of mozzarella at home. Yes, it's easier, especially in an oven, in a domestic oven where you can't get that blastering heat into your pie. Then having low moisture ingredient just helps creating a bit more. I mean, baking that pie a bit better, basically.
It's more similar to the environment that it would be made in New York, as a slice that you would get there, in that it's done at a lower temperature to Neapolitan for longer.
So
Which you can sort of replicate at home, I think.
Understood. Now we just stated somehow, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Neapolitan pizza is not superior to any other style of pizza.
Okay,
Is that what you agree on?
That's what I'm kind of asserting, but I'm going to ask you two questions.
Hold on.
And I feel like this is going to establish. This should establish whether that is the case. If you were in Naples,
Yes.
would you eat a New York style pizza?
No, never. I would never do that, but not because I'm I don't know. I wouldn't do that.
Okay, fine. If you were in New York, would you eat a Neapolitan style pizza?
Yes.
So you clearly think that Neapolitan style pizza is superior.
You tricked me. You tricked me. This is unfair. Then, okay. Yes, I guess so. I guess in my mind, it might be superior to it. I'm ready to face who I am. I'm old enough now to do this, I think. And
I feel like if and I
don't think. Hold on a second. I don't think that your demonstration, the point you made, just ends on the fact that in my mind, Neapolitan pizza is superior to New York slice.
Why not?
Here's the reason why. Here's the reason behind all this. I'm sorry to say about this. Okay, be ready. Be seated. I know you are, so no problem. Just remain seated.
I'm strapped in.
Yeah. What's the first immigrant community in New York? What's one of the... Pardon, sorry, let me rephrase this. Sorry. Damn it. One of the biggest immigrant community in New York is... Italians. There is some legitimacy to cook a Neapolitan pie in New York. Now, the question is there any New York community
Immigrants.
in Naples?
Not that I'm aware of.
So will I be able to experience a good New York slice in Naples if there's no New York community?
But then you see the thing with that is then that you're saying that in order for someone to make a good Neapolitan pizza, they have to be from Naples.
Or they have to at least have learned the skill somewhere. And I feel like, okay, all right. So you probably get a point as well on this. But I feel like the reality is a bit more nuanced than what it is. In Naples, they are very, 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 very proud of their pizza slices, of their pizza styles. I would say it's very unlikely for somebody to start making New York slices in Naples because they undervalue them. Most people will just...
It's not going to work as a business model, you think? Because the public aren't going to go to it. Yeah.
Where in New York, I can see in their eyes the value. I've been to places in New York where I had some amazing Neapolitan pizza. So I can see that they acknowledge the beauty of the Neapolitan pie. So that's why I would be more confident having a Neapolitan pie in New York than having a New York slice in Naples.
This actually leads on to my main problem with Neapolitan pizza. And I think you have hit the nail on the head a little bit there. I think that in places like New York, London, other sort of cities where there is more international presence or more multicultural sort of thing going on, you get this more of like an openness to different types of food. Now, I'm not saying that isn't present at all in Naples, but you're right, there's a pride in food that is from Naples in Naples. So much so that there is a document outlining exactly how Neapolitan pizza should be. And I think most people in Naples will only eat the Neapolitan style of pizza. And I think its main downfall is how rigid they are about the style, how they've almost set in, it can never evolve because they've set it in stone that it has to be this thing.
Is it bad?
You see what I mean? And to me, I think that's...
Is it bad? Is it bad though?
I mean, it's good that they are protecting that.
Yeah, the
that
culture,
tradition.
the legacy.
But also, I think there is a rigidity to it that means that they will never be open to other things.
Like for example, kebab pizza, like you can find in the UK. That's what you mean? Like
my
being
friend,
open to new things?
My friend, it's one of the wonders of the modern world.
Oh, gosh. This is like absolutely dreadful.
Actually,
this
no, I'm
like
going to take that back.
Drunk.
Let me go back one step. Not a kebab pizza.
Kebab pizza.
Chicken tandoori pizza. Oh, it's fantastic. It truly is an amazing thing.
I'm not saying it can't taste bad. Because everything on a pizza will taste okay. If I were to put like pineapple slices on a pizza, it's not bad. I can't see the argument there where people are just offended. Wow, pineapple slices on a pizza, it's disgusting. It's not bad, but it's not amazing.
This is what I mean. I don't think in Naples there would even be a discussion about it. Nobody would even be willing to try pineapple on a pizza and find out that actually, if you've got another ingredient on there that's quite rich and salty, the sort of sweet element of the pineapple is a really good counterpoint to that. But this conversation would never happen because they're like, no, there is one style of pizza, well, two. There's with cheese and without cheese.
You see, they're very opened, okay? They're open-minded. But in the end, I feel like they still are touching something that is important. They still are, with all this rigidity, they still are doing something that I feel is deeply right. They are highlighting the ingredients. The simplicity of the ingredients. You know that sentence. It's a statement I live by. Simplicity is extreme sophistication. And when something is simple, it forces you to analyze, to identify all the different subtleties, all the different details. When you've got, like, for example, chicken tandoori pizza, it's so bold, so flavorful overall, that I am just doubting about the ability to identify if the crust really is extraordinary.
Okay, well, I think that's an extreme example, but let me throw
that's
this
the one
back
you
at
gave
you.
me.
Let me throw this back at you in another way. The pizzeria that you went to that's outside of Naples, where I can't remember the name of it, but you met
Pepe.
the guy. Yes, Franco Pepe?
Yes.
Yes. So his deconstructed margarita, okay? I think before he started doing that and before he gained a reputation for it, that is the sort of thing that would be almost blasphemous in Naples.
It is.
Despite the fact that he's still paying attention to the individual ingredients. He's still highlighting the simplicity of the different elements. He's just presenting it in a different way. And this is the thing, I think, when the tradition becomes so rigid that it won't even consider something like that, it forces a man to move outside of Naples to open up the best pizzeria in the world.
That's insane. You're very right about this. That's insane, yes. But to some extent also, what Franco Pepe does in Italy, outside of Naples, outside of the walls of Naples, of the realm of the Neapolitan pizza.
The walls built of dough and...
Yeah, exactly. Beyond the wall. What he's doing only is a deconstruction of the Neapolitan pie to an Italian guy. Because to me, it still is a Neapolitan pie to some extent. It's the same crust, it's the same vibe, it's the same taste, it's the same lightness, the same airiness, the same wood-fired flavor. Only for I would say, Italian people would it be seen as a blasphemy. For me, it's just like, it's a variation on the Neapolitan pie. And it's very, 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 very close to the flavors you get on a Neapolitan pie. I think it's exactly the same flavors.
But this is what I'm saying. It's still out, according to the official document, it's not Neapolitan pizza.
No, it's not.
So what I'm saying is there is a value in keeping the tradition, in trying to preserve the core elements of that thing. But if you've got no wiggle room whatsoever, if you are not willing to budge an inch, it's going to be more harmful than it is positive towards that cuisine overall, I think.
Agreed. So as we're coming to the end of this podcast, I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
The question we started with. So is this style of pizza, in your mind, superior to all other style of pizza? You're willing to answer to this? Shall we answer together?
If you like, yeah.
Okay, so at 3, I'm going to count to 3. And you're going to tell me, like, honestly,
no.
if you think it's superior or not.
Okay.
1, be ready. 2, 3, it's
No.
not. You see, we agree on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you would agree on this one. Yeah. especially with you being very liberal with all these kebab and tandoori pizzas. But yeah. So next time, so what do we do next time we see someone being snob about Neapolitan pizza? What do we do? Do we just ignore the person, or do we just have empathy?
I think what we do is we go to the nearest kebab shop, buy a chicken tandoori pizza, sit next to them and eat that, and just say, "Man, you don't know what you're missing out on."
Yeah.
No, I think Alex, you just have to, remind them that there are other styles of pizza in the world, and life is about variety.
Yes, I love this.
When you were in Naples, did you have one of the sort of fried pizzas? It's like the fried they'd have a deep fry it, and the like piece of dough goes in there. And then they would put the topping.
That's amazing.
So, I don't know what the validity is to this, but I heard that was originally how Neapolitan pizza would have been before the stone pizza oven. Because back in the day, if you were a street vendor, pre-electricity, it was so much easier to get a little fire going and have a pot of oil on top of it that you then, cook your dough in by frying it, than to have a stone pizza oven built. Because it's not an easy thing to get to the...
I think so as well. I heard the exact same story. And I think I heard this story from Sorbillo in Naples, one of the pizza authority of Naples. Gino e Sorbillo, it's like a pizzeria in Naples. Okay. It's super famous, super legitimate. And I think this guy told me about this as well. And yes, it makes much sense on the street. It would be so much more convenient. Yeah. I mean, not only would it be more convenient, but just baking pie in a wood-fired oven would be impossible.
Yeah.
So yes.
It kind of makes me think...
And that so what you're implying is that it should make people more tolerant de facto.
I think so, given that the original style of Neapolitan pizza was nothing like what the official document outlines. So there should be more leniency to sort of say, even within your own city and pizza culture, there has been different styles.
You mean if humans were like logical and because I think we're touching on
that's a good point.
On something. Yeah. Okay, super, man. Thank you so much, Joshua.
All right, no worries,
Have
man.
a good one, man. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.